right, I think we're on. It's 5:15. Welcome to the Mesa City Council study session for September 18, 2023. Mayor Giles is out of town and he is excused from this meeting. All other council members are here present. Item number one is to review the agenda for tonight's council meeting. Are there any other questions from council or updates from staff on those items? Mr. Smith?
I think we got a blue card on item 3D, is that correct?
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
that item will need to be pulled off the consent agenda.
Okay. Kevin, item 3D, okay.
I do have a question regarding that, since we'll be listening to a constituent on this. So I believe the request is to delay until the fees, to table it until the fees are caught up. Is there a timeline that we need to abide by as far as our responsibility to review it and approve it?
Yes, in fact, Tim just checked on that, and I think he's going to tell you, we don't have, because of the state statute, how it works, we effectively have a shot clock in which we have to make the determination before it goes to the state liquor board, and we don't have another council meeting between now and when our deadline, and so we'll probably need to proceed tonight, but I think I just said what Tim was going to say, so I'm going to let him speak.
He said it very well. And just to answer your question, we have until 9/24, I believe that's maybe what he said. So that is the deadline set by the state for us to respond by.
And realize they can withdraw tonight, or they can go forward tonight. We can, council's can make the recommendation for denial for the reasons stated in the agenda and the staff report. And then they can still go to the state liquor board and they can try to work on it between now and the state liquor board, or they can withdraw between now and the state liquor board, right? You're providing a recommendation to the state liquor board. So it's not as if your recommendation for denial actually ends up in denial of this request ultimately. There'll be more process.
So if we postpone, it won't make this, the state's hearing, right?
It won't make the state's deadline for us to turn in our recommendation.
Okay, let's say we deny it.
Okay.
And what is the opportunity going forward?
So again,
To reapply?
you're not denying, you're making a recommendation
A
for
recommendation.
denial. And they can still get it approved through the state, and they can still correct the errors between now and the state, or they can withdraw it before it goes to the state board. And so there's multiple avenues for them still. So, and they've been aware of this for some time.
Yeah.
And so they may very well withdraw it tonight, or they may go forward and try to fix it between now and the state board, or withdraw it between now and the state board.
Okay. So the recommendation on the agenda is for denial. So approving it is denying it.
Yeah, and I'll help you with the motion if someone wants help. But yes, vote yes, depending on how the motion's worded. But yes, a vote for yes would be for a recommendation of the denial.
Okay, if we want to go that. And I do have another concern, and I know it's a challenging area, but there are a lot of calls for service. I realize the call, I don't know, do we need to have alcohol in an area that has so many issues is my other concern, but just based on the fees alone, I have hesitation. Thank you.
All right. So we'll take it up upstairs. Any other questions on on tonight's agenda? No, hearing none. Item number 2, current events and conferences attended. Council members, do you have anything to share? Events, conferences. All right, Jen.
I'm just going to keep on talking. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
You go ahead and I'll follow you.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to think which items you're on. So anyway, you can just chime in. So on Saturday, I served by doing a service project at the Millet House. This is part of the I Love Mesa and the Just Serve Day, and observing or commemorating 9/11 by serving our community as a way of healing, moving forward, and making our communities stronger. So I did the yard work at the Millet House, and I checked out the cleaning of the statues on Main Street. By the time I arrived, they're all done. They look great. I want to put a big shout out to Nick Willis and his wife Carly for gathering and coordinating 187 volunteers for over 450 hours between 6 organizations. There was the Arizona Museum of Natural History, the Idea Museum, the Millet House, a New Leave Refugee Center, and the Downtown Mesa Association and Streets of Joy, in 2 time slots. It was so smoothly run and a lot of joy in giving back to our community. You'll probably talk about that. Retail. Yeah, okay. And last week I also toured Resurrection Ministries. They do have services for homeless. They have a cooling center. They take in about 75 to 100 people a day and give them refuge from the heat and food and drinks. And COPA Health is there to connect them to services that they're taken care of. Their summer funding is running out soon. Certainly see the benefit of this program and having an alternative for getting off the streets and out of our parks and getting the service that they need. On Friday night, I attended the Dial at ASU Mix. It's an augmented reality film by Nightlight Labs. The piece originally premiered at the Sundance New Frontiers, but came to ASU as part of a residency to rebuild the experience and update the technology before heading on tour of festivals, galleries, theaters, and museums around the world. So it's augmented reality in which you experience a storyline by being able to walk around this house and kind of see it through your phone is very cool. Then I also attended a meeting on Friday with Arizona Downtowns. It was a virtual meeting to review Urban 3 tools to review development productivity through generated taxes and land use. Gilbert is using these models to evaluate their future development decisions. Nancy and Tracy from the Downtown Mesa Association were also in the meeting. And I appreciate that downtowns really get together and collaborate on information and ideas. Thank you.
Councilmember Freeman?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. You know, I was deeply humbled and honored to attend the Fallen Firefighter Memorial in Colorado Springs this past weekend. Mr. Butler and I traveled up there, and our retired captain, Trevor Madrid, was put on the Wall of Honor, along with the other Mesa firefighters that are on there as well. So maybe, Mr. Butler, if you want to share your experience, but I'll just finish this, but you know, it just carried with me a renewed sense of hope and appreciation for the sacrifices made by our emergency personnel, whether they're military, our officers, our sworn personnel, their families, and to protect our great country. And it just reminded me that the sacrifices that are made, and you know, sometimes an untimely death happens and it affects all of us, and so I appreciated going. And then Mr. Butler, this was his first time, and thank you. Thank you for taking me.
Yeah, well, thank you, Vice Mayor, Councilmember Freeman. Just wanted to echo everything that Councilmember Freeman said. It was very powerful. Glad to be there representing the city along with Councilmember Freeman, as we had one of our own who was being recognized. And kudos to Mesa Fire and Medical and our friends in labor who help organize everything and make this a seamless experience for the families of those that are impacted by the loss. It was really powerful to see, and a good reminder of what our public safety personnel go through on a daily basis. So thank you, Councilmember Freeman, for being there and helping to represent the city.
Vice Mayor, would be presumptuous if I asked Chief Camelli to come up and share her thoughts. She leads the organization, and she's probably worked with 8 of the 10 as well who have died.
For sure. Vice Mayor Heredia, Councilmember Freeman, members of the council. First, I really want to thank both Councilmember Freeman and Mr. Butler for being there. That meant a lot to the membership, but we do this every year, and we are there when they recognize our fallen brothers and sisters across the country and Canada. This year, there were 572 that they honored and recognized. And as Councilmember Freeman said, Trevor Madrid was put on the wall this year. This is the 7th Mesa firefighter that's on that wall since the 1980s. He has 2 young children. They were all given the flag. The honor guard was there, well represented. We had 22 of our honor guard, pipe and drum there. Mesa was very well represented, and they shined in their performance in playing the bagpipes for all of these families that were there. But Trevor's children are 3 and 6 years old. They let him play the drums. They let him kind of interact with the honor guard, and just to kind of help lighten the load of losing their loved one. But you'd be very proud, and we are very thankful to have a city that supports us in doing this, because it's truly a way we honor and recognize the families of the fallen firefighters. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other?
Sure. I was invited to speak at Mesa, the Chamber of Commerce on Friday morning, their Government Affairs Committee, and thank you for that invitation. I was happy to be there, and I spoke a little bit about our proposed drive-through text amendment, as well as our retail attraction initiatives. So, and then I also attended an event at Los Angeles Community Heroes event to honor some of our community heroes, and Mesa Fire, Police, and Mesa Recycles, and representatives from Falcon Field were there. So thank you to all those departments for showing up and coming out into the community. So.
Perfect. And I'll also, this past Saturday, we had the Grito celebrating Mexican independence at the MAC. Shout out to all the staff that helped there. Tremendous effort to pull this off in a short timeline. And we expected about 500 people. We got like 1,500 people. And so we had quite a bit of people. We had music and dancing and the whole honor guard from Mexico, from the Mexican consulate. Really nice program, I think, that kicks off Hispanic Heritage Month here in the city of Mesa. So I appreciate everybody that participated and helped us for this event. So, and item number 3, Mr. Butler, can you share the schedule of future meetings?
Yeah, thank you, Vice Mayor. So we'll convene again on Thursday morning. We'll open with an Eastmark Community Facilities District meeting before we move into our regular study session. So that'll be at 7:30 a.m. on Thursday. And then just to note that Thursday night, Downtown Mesa Association, coordination with the city and many others, I'm sure, are starting their Sunset Market, and that's from 4 to 8 p.m. So there'll be local vendors, food, artisan goods, live music, so come and check that out. I think that's going to be a monthly event, if I'm not mistaken, now that the weather is turning nicer. So 4 to 8 p.m. on Thursday, September 21st will be the first Sunset Market.
Okay. Is that on McDonald or?
It is at Main and McDonald.
Main
Yeah,
and
thank you,
McDonald.
Vice Mayor. That's correct.
Perfect. All right. With nothing more, do I have a motion to adjourn? By Councilmember Spilsbury, second by Councilmember Summers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we are adjourned. See you upstairs.